What's going on, everybody? This is Reaper and I am back with another video. Alright, well, today I'm going to be showing you a little bit of my solo version of Call of Duty, and I'm going to be talking about some common topics that are actually going around and actually are quite simple to talk about. The fact that games now are going to be $79.99 is a bummer, but you know what? I've been paying $85 for video games for the last 4 years, and that was before Trump became president. So you cannot blame this price hike on Trump because games have always been at this expensive. You've always had to get $85 cards in order to get $75 games. That's just how it is. And you know what? I get that, people don't like to spend a lot of cash all the time, and I get that people are quite casual and quite poor, but gaming is an expensive hobby, people. And if you cannot get on board with that, then find another hobby because you're never going to succeed in this life. And if you can't afford these consoles, these games, then you really should really stick to something simpler and something less expensive. But my main thing with gamers nowadays is that gamers just don't understand the full weight of what gaming takes, or the toll, I should say, on your life in gaming. Because I've seen a lot of posts recently that some people don't want to work, people just want to stay at home. I get that. I don't work. I don't have a job. I legitly live off disability and I live off the government, and I legitly love it. I have not had a job for 8 years, and I actually absolutely love that experience, because I personally think that most people that don't work, they have more time to themselves, and they have more free time, and they have more casual time to spend on other things, whether it be watching TV or playing video games, going outside for a walk, going to the park, going out to eat, you name it. But my main thing is that people just don't really like this new, addition to the industry. And, people are afraid that they're going to go broke just playing games. And I'm like, well, you gotta get some funds, people. You gotta be not poor. You gotta be not low class. You gotta be upper class or upper middle class to experience this actual activity. Because if you're not upper middle class, you are worthless and a piece of trash, because you are so poor that you cannot even afford basic shit. But at the end of the day, I think that most people just don't understand the true weight or toll that video games take on their life. And most young people don't understand that in the beginning either, so that's understandable too. But to be perfectly honest, I love the fact that I don't work. I love the fact that I can stay at home all day and play video games. I love the fact that all my bills get paid by the government. I love the fact that I basically live off tax dollars, off working class people that basically have to pay taxes every year, and those taxes go directly to my wallet. I get 11.6K a year from the government to keep my apartment afloat, keep my food stock intact, and keep my electricity going, and keep my Wi-Fi going, and keep my media going, and all that fun jazz. So I have more than enough money to survive on my own. But I would not have that if I was not disabled. If I was not disabled, which I am thankful for, and I know a lot of people might think that's a little bit weird to say, but the fact that I'm disabled gives me a gift of freedom. It gives me the life that no other person actually could ever even imagine. The fact that you don't actually have to hold a job to survive in this world is a beautiful, 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 beautiful gift of life. And it is very, 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 very nice that all I get to do all day is just play these games back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And I love it. And I love it, I love it, I love it. But the thing is that most people don't understand that, it really comes down to what you are willing to sacrifice for your activity of enjoyment. And, like, I'll give a shout out to Doc 185 because Doc actually said something smart and he actually said something, quite intelligent. And he thinks that all games now that are being priced at that $79.99 point will flop. And you know what? You're probably right. Because I guarantee you that most people will not actually expand their wallet to that price point. I guarantee that. And due to that factor, most games in the industry are going to start to see a dip in sales. They're going to start to see a dip in income. And they are going to start seeing a dip in all their, their profits going out the window. Because they're now basically catering to just the hardcore market that can afford the $85 game and not the casual market that is too poor to actually even afford, even to afford Game Pass. So I think that's mad freaking funny. But at the end of the day, when people are that poor, you gotta just give them pity, yo. You just gotta give them pity because, you know what? The fact that you have what they don't is a gift from God. And the fact that the new Pope is now American is actually quite good for America because that means that America's power is now nation to the highest. Nation power to the highest, people. America runs the church. I know people thought that would never happen, but it did happen. And now we have a powerhouse in the church. And that is going to work in our benefit, I guarantee you. But we will wait and see. But, I saw a lot of jokes going on last night about the new Pope, but I was like, you know what? I'm happy that the guy is American. He's actually an intelligent human being. He actually has an IQ. He's not retarded. So good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that the Pope is American. But back to what I was saying, games will always be expensive. Consoles will always be expensive. And my friend was just talking about how he thinks that the new controllers now will be, even more expensive. And I'm like, yeah, the Series 2, the Elite Series 2 is probably going to be $350 now. That's probably what it's going to be priced at because now the Series X is going to go up $600 to $700. That's going to suck for most people that wanted to buy that system. But with the new generation coming around the corner, I don't think that most people are even looking to buy Series X's anymore. I think they're just waiting it out until the next generation comes around and then they'll buy that. But to be perfectly honest, I think that most people got to understand that, gaming is an expensive hobby, always has been, always will be. And if you cannot make the profit to support your hobby, get the fuck out of the hobby. That's how that works. We don't need casuals in this market. We just need the hardcore that can pay the bills, pay the profits, and pay the income for the games to come out and be released. But, it is quite fun to actually play with casuals every once in a while because I love wrecking noobs. Wrecking noobs is so much fun. But, the casuals don't find time in their day to even sit down and game. The casuals are always working. The casuals are always with their families. They're always doing other things. And, that shows their level of commitment to the gaming hobby. It shows that they're not really that interested or that invested in actually enjoying themselves in that hobby. And that's kind of sad. But, you know what? With casuals being so, so enclosed, it's just it's mad freaking annoying because you got the hardcore that will always pay for the games, and then you got the casuals that only pick and choose what games they want to buy based on the price. And if the price is too high, then those casuals will no longer have an option to buy games. And that's where most of the income from Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, PC, that's where most of those incomes come from, is from the casual market. But if you eliminate the casual market people, you eliminate all hope of ever actually advancing in that field, because you will not make income to actually even get that done. So I personally think that, when, games are going, $10 more, I think that people gotta really, really focus on what they want more in life, to enjoy, whether it be video games, their family, their friends, their work, whatever it might be. But, you know, to me, my enjoyment has always been focused on video games, people. Video games are my top priority in life. It's over family, it's over friends, it's over women, it's over relationships, it's over everything. I would rather die than give up video games. That's how I feel about this hobby. And you know, we got some fanboys out there that basically, take pride in the fact that they're game collectors and stuff, but they still have families, they still have jobs, they still work a 9 to 5. You know, they're not full gamers. They're just casuals that just enjoy the gaming hobby. And that is pretty sad, but you know, I get that. I get that. But, you know, it's not really that big of an issue. But I got to admit that, you know, giving people, you know, a choice to buy Game Pass to enjoy free games for, you know, 20, maybe $25 a month soon will actually really give casuals an incentive to invest in Xbox, because they will have a lowball actual entry fee that they can choose to enjoy games and not buy them. But we will see. But I got to admit that most people that, you know, enjoy video games have a job. They have a family, and they only play video games on the weekends, and they only play it on off days and stuff like that. And I get that. But me, I play video games 24/7, people. I got top 1% worldwide last year, and I deserved it, because all I did was keep my Xbox and PlayStation 5 on, and I got, so many hours, clocked in. So the fact that I have more hours than you kind of shows where my devotion really truly does lie. Is it in women? No. Is it in family? No. Is it in friends? No. It's only in this hardcore industry that is gaming. And if I had to choose to pick where I wanted to choose my money, video games or women, I would choose video games. And I always will. And I always will, people, because video games are my top priority. And I would kill for video games, people. That's how much I love video games. I would kill people for video games. That's how much I love them. So, to be perfectly honest, I think that the 85 hike is not that big of a deal. But, the fact that, I don't work, I stay home every single day. I'm online every day. I've been enjoying this industry since I was 5 years old. And I've seen this industry grow from what it was in the beginning to what it is now. And I got to admit that, it has advanced, it has matured. It has really, really, really improved. And, people that are holding on to the past generation of games and systems really need to get their head checked, because they're basically supporting things that don't that don't matter anymore, and that are old school shit that basically are trash compared to the current generation stuff that is pure magic. So I think that, those old school boomers need to go. They need to find something else to, love more than their wife and children. And they really, really need to focus on what that thing is. But back on point, I think that, once the industry gets a better focus on what they will do with the new price hike and the new prices that are in place, I think we will see a evolution of technology that we have never seen before. And that's how I feel about the next generation system as well, the Steam Hybrid for Xbox. And I think that will be the heaven of all gaming. And I highly doubt there's anything Sony can actually do about it. But anyway, this is Reaper. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good day. Happy Mother's Day. And I wish you all well.